Hi Leo, here's a general look at your solar chart for February 2012, and every year at this time the Sun comes into the same area of your chart, which is to do with teaming up with people or cooperating with another, kind of on a one-to-one. So this is definitely not a time to be going it alone. Two heads are better than one just now, and then you can get a lot more of quality and maybe being more successful because you're in a cooperative sort of scenario. So no, that might be someone that you choose or someone that you didn't choose. It could be you and someone negotiating. Both of you trying to get the best for yourself. You and someone thrashing out a problem. You and someone looking for a win-win solution. You and someone forming a united front. You and someone getting to know each other and bonding. That's altogether likely. Or it could be another kind of alliance, a completely different kind of alliance. But definitely where the Sun is, and also that's going to be Mercury and Venus as well, there's this feeling of not doing as well going forward alone, and actually really having to rely on somebody else to go forwards. And this vibration can give love relationships, friendships, working relationships as well, professional type relationships, a tremendous boost, and can actually even deepen feelings and bring more mutual understanding, or in the case of a love relationship, kind of more passion, more intimacy, particularly up until the 8th, that one. But you could be sharing in a great way at the moment, and having this kind of more sense of safety and mutual understanding, but also sharing a joint interest or passion about something with another. For some of you, your deeper feelings are going to be touched by somebody at this time. Now, until mid-month, communications, personal, professional, in close relationships, are going to be a real key feature, and you'll probably enjoy bouncing ideas off each other a lot, maybe more corresponding going on, more time on the phone, more paperwork, more chatting really with each other. You being interested or even intrigued at somebody else's slant on something, which you may disagree with, but which at least would help you clarify your own thinking. You could be seen as the advisor and information giver and facilitator to somebody else more at this time as well, and looked upon as maybe an agent or a go-between figure at this time. And then from mid-month, your mind will be busy weighing pros and cons. It will be more inwards. It will be more secretive. Maybe you're going to be looking at the dynamics of a relationship, or maybe putting your brain to helping somebody out because they're in a bit of a pickle, or being more aware of finances, things around centered around property, but joint resources. There can be, money, property. It can be some small interests that are shared, or something really quite big. And discussions and ideas may have to, you have to bear in mind the requirements and what is best for, X, Y, Z person, or in fact it might not be somebody you know personally. It might be that you have to meet the criteria of some outside agency. So that could have you thinking more about finances and property, or certain resources like even equipment. Or it might not be that. It might be just you thinking more deeply and digging and delving into things, and plotting and planning and scheming, and also holding up the lantern of the light of your intuitive sensing and knowing how to go forwards. Because with Mercury here from mid-month onwards, it's in a very sort of illogical, non-rational sort of a place. It's more in a place where you could almost like get some sort of intuitive insight into things, and get a deeper evaluation of somebody or some plan or some sort of enterprise, because you feel it in your gut. That's what I'm trying to say. So it's a favourable time to be looking beneath the surface of things, to allow that, to not allow the mind to dominate too much. Getting into something which is to do with meditation anyway. Letting go of thinking which is stressful, which kind of gives you a bad feeling, or even certain lifestyle habits that are just irrelevant now and not doing you any good at all. That would also be a good thing, because this is actually an area to do with transformation, or shall I say changing from one gear to another. So it's the right time to have a declutter inwardly, but also a declutter outwardly, to refine things down to the bottom line, the key insight, and following on from there. Now, having said all of that, Venus is in a very, very sort of intimate area, also potentially quite a lucrative area, or at least an area where money isn't going to be such a huge problem. Or there can be just a bit more ease there until the 8th, and then from the 8th, faces and places at a distance may stand for something lucrative or something desirable, or a relationship could revolve around a long distance connection, or finances could revolve around travel or a foreign land, or maybe it's an advice giving type scenario. Or an educational establishment. Somebody you're in relationship with could help you see the bigger picture, but vice versa. Publications or communications or litigation, actually something to do with the law as well. Things could, there's a positive energy in that area there. And publications or communications across a wider stage could encourage or benefit a relationship. Or benefit you materially as well. Now, Mars is transiting a very materialistic area of your solar chart for several months. It's going to be there until July. So that means at times physical effort is going to be going into kind of acquiring or maintaining basic stuff, basic survival stuff, the roof over the head, the sort of the food, in the tummy, the water. And it's a very practical area. Practical things can be achieved over this time. Mars is usually an area, wherever Mars is an area where we've got to use physical energy to achieve. So you may be, wanting to get your hands on something and working very hard at that, or maintaining what you have already got your hands on. And protecting it, or harvesting what may have been seeded previously, whether that is in the form of actual material objects, or the garden, or money, or any other sort of resource which can be useful to kind of basic survival. So basically, this is all about your stuff, and maybe somebody else's stuff too. But in this month and until April, Mars is going to be going retrograde. So during that time, the advice would be to stick with the safer bets related to money moves of any kind, or property, and things should start to make more sense and start feeling as though they're kind of rolling forwards more easily from April onwards, when you get your focus clearer and you get your confidence coming in again. So overall, during this transit, it could be about buying, selling, renting, or putting physical effort into getting organized, inside, outside, related to acquisitions, possessions, large or small, but basic survival stuff, or any other bit of territory that you might say that you possess that is yours, or you'd like it to be yours, which needs a decisive, energetic, dynamic, realistic approach to run more smoothly, or to get upgraded, and your energy can be quite stretched at times as you're trying to get organized, with all of the paraphernalia that we seem to need in our lives, and also working harder at filling the piggy bank, working out financial type things, seeing how to make the most of assets, getting your hands on certain things, which is being very practical and resourceful about improving the quality of the material, physical side of life, because it's also not just about objects and money. This is also about your physical health, so what you're putting through your body, and looking at the quality of those things and trying to get into better habits with all of that stuff. Now, Mars can be quite confrontational at times, so Mars over these months in this area here means that you can be quite feisty about this area here, this very materialistic area here, and lines of supply, and maybe crossing swords with somebody from time to time related to all of that stuff. But definitely things can be improved over this time through your efforts. Don't overdo it. Don't ask too much of yourself, particularly over February and March. Your physical health, though, can be improved over this long transit through your initiating and sticking to off your own bat with nobody pushing you, because Mars likes to be in front, in the lead. So meeting the Mars criteria here means that you make the decision, you initiate, and you go for it with your diet, exercise program, with your therapies, whatever. With also, I have to say, with you realizing that you have a talent that you've never done a lot with, much with. This would be the time now for you really to blow the dust off that sort of maybe long ago hope in the corner and see what you can do with it. Just remember, like I say, don't get too impatient, because Mars is a terribly impatient planetary energy. Just, pace yourself and listen to yourself as well. Maybe your body needs to speak to you. From the 19th, you'll probably feel a little self-protective at times as you intuitively weigh up which way to go. In whatever this or that situation. And now every month I usually speak about the slow moving planets. I'm not going to do that this month. I'm simply going to mention Neptune. If you want to know about slow moving planets and how they might be affecting you in this month or over the months of 2012, you can listen to the forecast I did for the whole of 2012, the second half, or you can just go to my website and read it, because I've got the copy, the sort of the bones of the copy down there as well. But just mentioning Neptune, this is a big one. Neptune has been in your opposite sign Aquarius since 1998. Neptune, the planet of mists and confusions. Sometimes then, Neptune there may have meant uncertainty or muddled feelings or getting cross wires and even being deceived by somebody in a close relationship. And that might have blighted your close relationships, whether that's in your personal life or maybe in a professional sense as well. But over that time, you would have wanted to perhaps develop a more compassionate or empathic approach in one-to-one close working or personal relationships and interactions with others. Neptune now is moving from here and going into Pisces on February the 4th. So, and it's going to be there for many years, until 2025. So this new position of Neptune will mean, over this very long transit, that you have to be take a little bit more care about joint resources, property, boundaries, your deeper feelings about somebody. You may have to sacrifice at some point personal ownership of a property or a space, or money, time, energy, because of somebody else. Maybe something that you choose to do. Now, on the flip side, this position of Neptune can lead to wonderful things. It can mean that you find your soulmate. There's some great things about this transit of Neptune. It can lead to deeper fulfillment in love relationships, or some kind of extraordinary bonding between you and somebody. It might be a child, it might be an animal, it might be something in a more spiritual kind of sense, an extraordinary bonding, a blending, melding, with somebody can occur. And you could get interested in a dimension of knowledge which is mystical, occult, super normal, divine, or just get more into psychology and research as well. That could also be in helping people through, trauma and a rough patch in their lives. On a mundane level, the advice would be, though, as far as your joint resources and joint interests that you hold together with somebody else is concerned, is not to just assume that everything's going to be fine, but just to be kind of almost like get it in writing about being crystal clear about inheritances or, alimonies or just joint monies, properties, or something that you may have created together with somebody else. So that's it for February. If you know your rising sign and your moon sign, you might like to listen to those and see if they make any sense to you at all. And I'll see you the next time. Take care.